I'm here to introduce you the AMOC approach for creating a sustained climate ocean observing system for the social benefit and risk awareness. I'm standing here on behalf of my co-authors. What is the AMOC? The AMOC is the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, and that actually is a system of ocean currents in the Atlantic, but also globally. The system of ocean currents connect the high latitude northern hemisphere sinking regions that then supply water to the deep ocean. It goes all around the global ocean and finally also returns back to the sinking regions. Many of you may have known of the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation from a movie that's already more than 15 years old, The Day After Tomorrow. And that actually reports about the AMOC collapse, which is one scenario that goes along with AMOC and that leads to really cool conditions, in particular over Europe and Northern Hemisphere. The AMOC observing system is a system that is composed from dedicated mooring arrays that you can see in the upper right, depicted as a sketch, and that cover different latitudes in the Atlantic. But this is then actually be combined with in situ and satellite observational data platforms that all together compose the AMOC observing system. In order to really integrate now these observations into AMOC observing products, there is a special integration and analysis mechanism needed that typically is composed from international teams. The AMOC itself is really something that's depicted here on the right, is really something that's of interest to experts only. That is, for example, the AMOC as it has been measured in the subpolar gyre in million cubic meters per second of volume transport, and over a period of 4 years about. But the AMOC has many, many different impacts, the circulation. In particular, there is heat and also freshwater anomalies that are being carried with the AMOC circulation, and they are, for example, being linked to heat waves, and ecosystem tolerance is being addressed through these heat waves, and that there is a big impact on biodiversity, on ecosystems. AMOC also is linked to sea level changes, to nutrient oxygen fluxes, to carbon uptake, and thus to the global stocktake, and also to the flux of carbon. So you see from that various stakeholders are actually being interested in AMOC circulation. And this really needs to be addressed by an AMOC observing system. The AMOC SAP is targeting that through different work packages. There is the actionable part, which really seeks to engage policy makers and stakeholders, various stakeholders that are interested in AMOC information. And these AMOC information could be certain indicators that are being discussed with the stakeholders. What is it and how should they be served? Then from this actionable, from the information actually, from the actionable, one has to go through the observations in order to understand if these observations are fit for the purpose. The purpose then what really the stakeholders, including the science community, want from the AMOC. And that includes then how the AMOC is being observed, which technology is actually being used for the observations, and also executing pilot studies for future AMOC observing systems is part of this work package. From the sustained observations, there is a need then to integrate these observations and also to understand if these observations are carried out in a way that will satisfy all the observational needs. It could be through projections of the observations and also see to improve the observational system, for example, making it more cost efficient, but also to address issues related to AMOC circulation, AMOC overturning, that are new. And that includes, for example, early warning on tipping points. One of these tipping points is the global cooling through an AMOC columns. AMOC sub will also use 3 different categories of applications in order to demonstrate the linkage between socially relevant application areas and the AMOC, which is, for example, here choosing the ecosystem futures, which is mainly related to nutrient transport and productivity. It's about fisheries management, and that is linked to circulation changes, circulation anomalies, and including heat anomalies, for example. And the last application area is extreme weathers. These application areas will then be discussed with the stakeholders to understand if that really is delivered in a way that is usable from the policymakers and also from different stakeholders, including the science stakeholders. So it's a classical framework for ocean observing approach, but applied to the AMOC problem. There's also, of course, an AMOC SAP observational data management system behind that I will only sketch here. Really, it's about the PIs, that these PIs then communicate the right information and also deliver the data in a readable way to the National Oceanographic data centers of the different countries, also considering data from non-European National Oceanographic data centers. These data then is being served to data aggregators, including Coriolis, CDataNet, and AMODNet, and that's being done by FAIR data from the NODCs and GDACs. And lastly, these aggregators will provide data through either a dedicated or their general stakeholder dialogue to data users, which is public services, researchers, SMEs, and other companies or case. So all these different elements of the data management stream will be tackled in AMOC SAP. And that's very new, I think, that the design and application of this data acquisition and data distribution system includes all stakeholders and their voices. This approach will actually allow to emphasize the mutual benefit that exists of all the parties that are involved in the observational data management and, of course, then data product scheme. Thank you.